Dani Lalonders, the Marvel's Black Panther developer, who admitted to engaging in race-based hiring discrimination against white people, is now attempting to explain away her previous comments. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And if you are unfamiliar with what Dani Lalonders had to say, let's just get into this right here. She made these comments back in 2021 during the Game Devs of Color Expo, where she was talking about her game company that was developing a game called Validate. Let's take a listen to what she had to say about her team.
A little background about this. I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something made it okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love. So, who is your
So there you go. She clearly admits that she specifically did not want white people on her team because she did not want them, quote unquote, microaggressing her other team members. So she tried to squirm her way out of this by claiming that's not what she said, while saying that is what she said. It just, you can't even make this stuff up here, folks. But before we get into what she had to say recently, I do want to also remind you that she did engage in defending Sweet Baby Inc. She's also a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee. I think she worked for them a couple years ago for about like 9 months. But on March 7th, she posted this. I just stopped taking y'all seriously when y'all start running around saying white people can experience racism because I did not suffer through 2020 for y'all to act like you weren't an ally to BLM 4 years later. Posting that tired screenshot of the Google definition of racism, I just don't care anymore. So clearly doesn't care about what the truth of what racism is. And she clearly thinks that you can't be racist towards white people. Obviously, she believes a bunch of lies. And she admits that she doesn't care about the truth. Then she admitted that she's a racist in a response to Riley Man 1080 here. Riley Man 1080 says, so being appropriately called racist is tiresome, huh? You could try not being racist. And Lalonders says, yeah, I'm racist. So what now? And then she said, if you think you can be racist to white people, you literally are. So she's saying that if you think that it is possible to be racist towards white people, that makes you racist. You really just can't. The logic just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The gears are not ticking in her head there when it comes to this stuff. She then tried to explain herself or justify herself, saying, I didn't imply anything. Racism and prejudice are not the same thing. Racism is systematic. White people are not systematically affected negatively by racism. Certain groups of white people throughout history have been affected by prejudice based on where they're from. Remember, she systematically discriminated against white people for her game Validate. So she's clearly lying. But this is what she had to say earlier today, trying to get herself out of this situation that she put herself in. She says, okay, let's address this. In this video, I clearly stated that the team for Validate is mostly people of color because I wanted to have a team of people who reflected on the game we were working on. If you play Validate, you understand why this was important. This is an absolute lie. Because as we just listened to, she says, Validate has a team of all people of color. We have no white people on our team. So she's already contradicting herself just in her second sentence, trying to get herself out of this. It's not going good for her already. She clearly didn't put enough thought into this thread here, trying to walk back her race-based hiring discrimination comments. Nevertheless, she continued saying, this video is a bit outdated. I recorded in the summer of 2021. Validate was released in September of 2022. From when this video was recorded to release, we had a few white developers join our team to help us with some music and audio needs. Nowhere in this video did I say we don't hire white people or that I hate white people. I very clearly said we wanted to have a team that reflected the values of the game we were making. As a lead, you pick the best people possible for the job. That's not what she did at all, but let's continue. In this case, the best people for the job were the people who understood the kind of game we were making. Developers working on a game full of queer characters who understand the importance of queerness in games that is realistic and respectful towards queer people. So, however, we go back to the video. What did she say? She said she made it very clear that she made a conscious decision to exclude white people. Remember, this is what she said. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for the environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. So she says we had no white people on our team. And then she says, I did that because she made a conscious decision to not have white people on the team. That means she's discriminating against white people. If you want to go further on, she talks about how she didn't want white people microaggressing her other team members. And that's why she excluded white people. Very clear that she was discriminating against white people. So again, contradicting herself. Nevertheless, she continues saying, in the latter half of the video, I spoke about microaggressions in the workplace. If you are a person of color, you understand precisely what I meant. That being said, I am very well aware that white people are not the only ones who can commit microaggressions in the workplace. But that's exactly why you said you excluded white people. It's because you felt they were going to microaggress the rest of your team members. Microaggressions can be committed by anyone towards anyone else in the workplace. But in the context of what I was talking about, I had fears of certain treatment towards my marginalized workers in the workplace. I wanted my team to feel safe while working on Validate. So she's admitting that she thinks that white people were going to make her team feel unsafe. Again, showing that she is a racist and that she discriminated against white people. She's literally admitting it right here while trying to say she wasn't doing it. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up, folks. So then she posted this. The way Libs of TikTok posted this video made it seem like I am the lead developer, hiring director at Cliffhanger Games. I am not. My title is an associate narrative designer. I don't have any power in terms of hiring and never had. I have also been working at Cliffhanger for about 9 months. This video predates my time at Cliffhanger by 2 years. Again, this video is old. It does not reflect my current values or the current reality of my company, Veritable Joy Studios. Well, we know that's not true. You just posted, 2 weeks ago and admitted that you're a racist. So I don't know what happened in those 2 weeks, but I doubt that your values changed. I just don't see it. I mean, you're saying you're discriminating against white people with your company back in 2021. In 2023, you're saying, or in 2024, you're saying you're a racist. Now you're saying that doesn't reflect your values. So I'm not really sure what she's trying to say here. I think she's just lying through her teeth. As far as the way of Libs of TikTok posted, let's go back up here and look at it. This is what Libs of TikTok wrote. This is Dani Lalonders, a non-binary game developer. She was hired by Cliffhanger devs to create a game based on Marvel's Black Panther. She says she doesn't hire white people because they're unsafe and it's hard to work with them, and only hires people of color. So I will give her that. I do think that it was framed a little poorly. It does not say that this is her discussing her game in 2021 for Validate. But I still think it reflects on Cliffhanger Games that they hired someone who has said this before and has those values, has those ideas, has those beliefs. And I think that can still be applied to Cliffhanger Games. And I think that should be hung around their necks. They're the ones who chose to hire this person, knowing the baggage that comes with it. They know what she did at Validate, or one would assume they did. They know what was in that game. They hired her. This is how she finished off her thread. She said, before I end this thread, please let this be a lesson for everyone to do some research before they post. I've seen a lot of misinformation posted about this situation from journalists, content creators, and even TikTok lawyers. Misinformation spreads like a wildfire. Misinformation has led people to be massively racist towards me and my company, spamming my socials, email, and even my LinkedIn with anti-Black racism, death threats, images of lynchings, the KKK, and other racist imagery. She doesn't post any of that to prove it. We've seen zero evidence of this. And what's interesting is it's that she's the one who's clearly spreading misinformation now, trying to shape the narrative on her behalf, in her favor. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work for her. Or fortunately, I do not think it's going to work for her. I think people have seen the truth. They can see through her lies. But nevertheless, she goes and says this to conclude. She says, all this to say, I'm sorry if I made you upset in any way with the contents of this video. So again, she's not apologizing for being racist. She's not apologizing for discriminating against white people. She's not offering any kind of apologies for her own actions. She's trying to apologize for the way other people are reacting to her racist comments and actions. You just can't make it up, folks. And she says, I hope this explanation clears things up. Have a nice day, everyone. Well, I think it definitely cleared things up. And I think it proved to me that she is indeed a racist and she was engaging in discriminatory hiring practices for her game company, Veritable Joy Games, for her game Validate. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.